Season 4 Episode 5. Private School. Boy is officially named Baby Colin Robinson, or just Colin, for short, so I will be referring to him as Colin B, short for Colin Baby. Also, he is the second Colin. It could also be Colin Boy because he is still referred to as Boy and the Boy pretty often. Colin B is breaking things all over the house, which wakes up Nandor, and has everyone else somewhat annoyed. Laszlo is trying to act like it doesn't faze him, but it's pretty easy to see through to his true feelings. Of course, most of the responsibility for keeping Colin B in check has fallen onto Guillermo, and even he is having an extremely difficult time wrangling in the wild Colin B. Laszlo continues to try to defend Colin B's behavior even though it seems everyone knows he has an inordinate amount of energy. Guillermo suggests enrolling Boy in school. Guillermo's idea is to have Colin B enroll in public school just as Guillermo went to. Nandor thinks a performance arts school would be more appropriate. Nadja suggests private school. The Jinn is still waiting around for Nandor to regret his last wish, and Nandor pulls him aside for a private talk. Nandor also has more wishes, which is an inconsistency on our part, discussed in our Season 4 Episode 6 video. Colin B messes up a performance and gets turned down by a girl who is hundreds of years old but looks about 4 years old. This motivates Laszlo to enroll him in school. Shawnee the neighbor suggests a particular school and the vampires prepare to endure the school interview process. The headmaster, Peter Francis James, arrives and Colin B introduces himself pretty well, but then starts to give too much information. Colin is the name given to the school. The vampires forgot to discuss who they would tell the school are the parents of Colin B, so they have to hypnotize the headmaster and restart. Shawnee is also there and gets hypnotized, which cannot possibly be good for Sean considering how many times his memory has been wiped. Nadja and Nandor decide to pretend to be the parents, but Nandor introduces himself as Matthew. They also don't know the answers to the headmaster's questions. I can't blame them for not knowing what age to give, considering baby Colin has grown to the size of an 6 to 8 year old in a much shorter period. The headmaster is seeing through the lies, so to make it more authentic, Laszlo and Nadja decide to be the pretend parents. Because they can keep resetting, the interview is going well. Without the hypnotizing, the interview would likely be over. The vampires begin to realize the more different and less traditional they are, the better chance Colin B has of being accepted to the school. So naturally, Nandor and Laszlo pretend to be gay for each other. Thankfully, Guillermo knows a lot about Colin B, so he has the headmaster's attention. With none of the people who live at the house as potential parents, having tried out various combinations and now having reset the headmaster numerous times, the vampires decide to outsource. They bring in Sal Volcano, playing himself to pretend to be Colin B's dad. Volcano, the real-life actors, is from, as Laszlo calls it, incomprehensible jesters, but is really from impractical jokers. Sal doesn't work out either though, so Laszlo snaps his neck and kills him, planning to drain Sal's blood later. Guillermo points out what I, myself, and probably most bingers were thinking throughout the entire episode, which is, why do they continue to hypnotize just to reset the interview process when they can just hypnotize the headmaster to accept Colin B into the school? His words of wisdom go over the vampire's head and Nadja says they're in too deep and they need to stick to the plan. So, Nadja and Shawnee the neighbor are the next couple to be Colin B's fake parents. Then Nadja's soul vessel mini doll and Guillermo. Then the headmaster and Laszlo end up trying to be the parents. Yes, this sentence is correct and is inherently confusing. Then it's back to Nandor and Laszlo. Eventually it's dead Sal Volcano and a skunk who are Colin's parents. The headmaster is getting ready to head out and asks for Colin's transcripts, which of course they don't have, but Guillermo's quick thinking buys them time. Guillermo bribes his old teacher to create a fake transcript the next day. Guillermo is the bookkeeper at the club, which is creating an appearance of impropriety because the documentary crew is always following him around filming what he is doing, which has often involved cash exchanges lately. The appearance of impropriety is confirmed when Guillermo admits he has been skimming the club's revenue, but he says it is just to pay himself. Because Colin B's school interviews are not going well, they decide to enroll him in every single youth sports and recreational activity group in the area, including but not limited to baseball, volleyball, soccer, basketball. This ends up being a positive thing, because it keeps Colin B busy all day and has him tired enough to fall asleep as soon as his head hits the pillow at night. Throughout the episode, Nandor was getting the equivalent of plastic surgery from the djinn, and by the end he looks like a puppet. So he decides to go back to his normal face and the episode ends. In a bonus scene, the documentary crew catches Nadja blatantly skimming club revenue and she threatens to kill them all if they tell anyone.